Call it bouquet or bokeh, or how do we...
Bouquet is what you throw at a wedding.
Hi, welcome to the first episode of Creatives in Cars, the podcast that gives me the perfect excuse to drive around in my 1969 MGB GT while talking to interesting people. I'm Andre Hugo, your driver for the next hour, and when I'm not doing this, I'm a filmmaker and a father of four. Every week or so, I'll hit the road with a new guest. In this first season, I'm focusing on fellow filmmakers and photographers. We talk film, gear, life, and the hustle behind the lens. No studios, no script, just real conversation in a rolling time machine. In this episode, I'm talking to Deon Lategan. He's a surf photographer, landscape photographer based in Jeffreys Bay. He's got some phenomenal work. I really love his style. He's a true artist in the sense of him pursuing it for the sake of art. This is Creatives in Cars. Sit back and enjoy the ride with us.
I don't have that much money.
Well, try not to whistle anything recognizable.
Listen, you can open this little window. It does circulate a bit of
Get a
air.
little bit of draft. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Dion, thanks for coming along.
Pleasure.
Driving along in my MG.
Such a cool car.
Yeah, no, I love it. Initially, I was like, I need to do something with it. And then I was like, cool, this is what I'm going to do. I love cameras, I love cars, and here we are.
Taking a Sunday drive
Yeah.
in my hood.
Exactly, bro.
Nice.
I think let's start with, where did you get into photography? Where did that all start for you?
So I actually grew up in, I'm 50 odd now, so I grew up with cameras. My dad was in the industry actually, so he was in old days, like in the chemists used to have
Yes.
like a photo section.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I grew up in Cape Town. He was working in like the photo section of a chemist. It was called Noise Pharmacy, and then like in Kenilworth, and he was working there.
Okay.
So he always had like cameras, and those was film days obviously
Yeah.
as well. He was a photographer in his own right, but it wasn't like his main source of income. But there was always cameras around, so I learned to work with them. And in those days, it was all shot on film. Like nowadays, obviously film has come back and it's like a cool thing to do.
Yeah.
Then we didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
And so I learned to shoot on film and stuff, which also made you you had to be technically on top of your game.
Yeah.
There was
Yeah.
like,
You couldn't review the footage.
no,
and
that's just
shoot like 20 shots of one thing.
Oh, yes, you were counting every frame, It was like, okay, it's going to cost me so much to develop and da-da-da-da-da. So, took a lot of photos like growing up, but I was never like my main thing at all.
Okay. What did you kind of shoot back then?
I was initially on an old Canon, I can't remember the model,
Okay.
but my first sort of SLR was like a Canon, and my dad was always getting deals on lenses and stuff, so we always had
Okay.
pretty like decent gear. Like I was
Okay,
probably
nice.
boxing above my weight in terms of what the gear I had.
Okay.
And then you'd go like on a little surf trip and start taking shots and that sort of thing.
Okay. So it was even back then surfing.
Yeah, surfing was kind of, you take friends and family. But I mean, like even when I was at university, my dad would like hook me up with gigs. Like, someone needed a wedding photographer.
Oh, no way.
And you'd go like on the cheap, like
Yeah.
as a student wedding photographer was the first prize. But it was stressful because like,
Yeah.
this was someone's wedding and I had like one camera and like 3 rolls of film, and if something went wrong, like there was no comebacks, there was no
Yeah.
checking I got the frame, there's no spare camera.
Yeah.
So it was like a little baptism of fire, and you'd make a little bit of pocket money, but you couldn't afford to make any mistakes. So I got into that, but I was never I don't think I was ever a standout photographer or a great photographer. But then kind of later on, I kind of got more, as you kind of got more exposed to what was out there and like what
Yeah.
you kind of wanted to do and what
Yeah.
influenced you.
Yeah.
And then you realize, hey, let me try to make better photographs. Let me not just try to capture something. Let's try to,
Okay.
I always think that's the difference in someone just pulling the trigger is just capturing a moment. But
Yeah.
if you can kind of add your take
Voice.
to it and your voice to it, exactly.
Yes.
Then it becomes more interesting. So you
Yeah.
see when the sun, I'm often on the beach during a sunrise and everyone's, beautiful sunrise, you should take a photo of it. And I check everyone taking a photo of it and I'm like, well, in that scenario, the sunrise is doing all the work, you know? So it's like anyone can capture it. But now if you can turn that into something a bit more interesting and add something to it, exactly. Then then it's not just the sunrise doing the work, then you're adding your input to it.
And I mean, that's what I've seen with your work, and it's like you're able to, like, you're shooting mainly one location, and you're still keeping it fresh and unique, and obviously you're still enjoying it, so it doesn't, I mean, I'm sure there's times where you're wishing for like a dolphin to spring out, like jump out of the wave, and that's gonna, like, you know, gonna be an awesome shot. But I mean, mostly it's just golden hour at super tubes, and you keep it fresh. Like, how do you do that?
I would say, like, as you said, like, I'd say probably 95 of my photographs are taken within 500 meters of where I live. You know, I literally, like, will walk, take my dogs for a walk, and have a camera with me. And some mornings I don't even take the camera out if I don't, you know, it's not like a forced thing.
Okay.
If I don't see something that interests me, then I won't do it.
Yeah.
But then, like,
so you don't feel that constant pressure of, like, oh,
no,
I'm gonna miss it. I'm gonna miss that shot.
No, but I do. You know, you're always bummed if you don't have a camera, then something happens. You know, and it's like that famous saying, like, you know, the best camera in the world is the camera you have with you. You know? And, like, I often, actually these days, even I've got like a small little Fuji that fits in my pocket.
Oh, cool.
And if I feel it's like a morning that's not going to require anything like a longer lens, like it's onshore or whatever, I'll just have it in my pocket in case, you know, some
magic
dogs do something, or there's a heat, you know, then you've got it, or there's interesting light or whatever. But I do, you know, I think as you going along, you get exposed to more stuff, and you kind of see things. Like, I'm quite interested in street photography, for example. I always find it very interesting, like what guys are doing. And what guys are doing without ideal conditions. You know, I'm like in a place where there's beautiful light, there's beautiful nature, there's like beautiful moments. So you're kind of spoiled by that. It's interesting to see what guys are doing with like bad light and in a city situation where there's like maybe not necessarily the sort of inspiration that I feel I need, and creating images all the time and like amazing images. So I feel like kind of exposing yourself, and Instagram has been good for that. You know, you kind of expose yourself to what other people are doing, developing like an aesthetic, developing taste, seeing what you like, and then like that stuff feeds back into what you create. You know?
And I mean, I mean, maybe we should touch on that. Like, you're only able to shoot in the mornings because you actually have a full-time job.
100%.
Yeah. So you're not a full-time photographer.
Not at all. And I think it's good and bad. It's a discussion I've had with a lot of people over the years. In that, not being a full-time photographer and not having to produce anything for a client, or being under constant pressure to, like, okay, I need to make up some money this month or whatever. It does give you a lot of license to actually play around and not necessarily be compromised in what you're doing, and say, okay, listen, this month I've taken a bunch of shots and not one of them is really sellable or commercially viable, but it's all right, you know. I don't need. It's not for bread on the table.
You don't need to chase it in that sense. Like where someone now needs to pay bills and go on an assignment or something that he doesn't really like, or.
And I think it's the reality of it is it's a hell of a privilege to be able to do it as a side hustle and do what you kind of want to do. Where I know a lot of guys might be more compromised and like, okay, well, I got to go shoot a baby shower, or I got to go and take a couple's photos on the beach.
And you must be excited about it.
Exactly. So I'm in a luxury situation like that. And I think there's very few people probably in this country that are shooting 100% on their own terms. You know?
Exactly.
Like being that good that like they can say, they get to dictate. Or people come to them and say, listen, do your thing. There's probably a handful of people who've got that luxury.
I mean, there's many situations where I feel like, man, I wish I didn't need to do this now. I've got into a lot of like editing work, and it's like sometimes I just want to go out and shoot, but then I really need to edit, you know. I really need to sit in front of the computer and finish this project.
But then you get to do passion projects, Like this.
Exactly. Well, you need to find something that keeps the fire going.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. So I mean, that's what I'm going to get back to that point. Like, that's what interests me. Like, you're shooting the same thing, but you're still excited about it. And that obviously comes from your passion for surfing and that particular wave. I mean, you surf super tubes, and I mean, when it's pumping, is it sometimes like a bit of a juggle of like, do I shoot? Do I surf?
You know what? It's like I hardly ever shoot in the day.
Okay.
So like I literally I'll walk the dogs in the morning.
Yeah.
And I take my camera with me and a coffee, and it's like my surf check, and it's my dog walk. It's probably as a byproduct, it's probably like my therapy. You know, I'm on the beach getting ocean sun, getting everything else, and then if I see something I want to shoot, I shoot. And often like I'll be like on the beach taking photos of guys. I'm like, like why am I not surfing? You know, like I should be surfing now. You know. And I'll go back and I'll look at the photos because I'm like pretty slack at getting around to editing because there's like never a rush. Sometimes the photos will stay on my camera for like weeks. And eventually I'll like download them and I'm like, why am I taking photos of these guys and I'm not surfing? You know, the waves look so good. But like I said, it's often just like a byproduct of me walking up the beach and walking back down, and then I'll go home and surf. So surfing is generally like when it's really good is a priority. Unless I see like, oh, there's like someone really good and interesting I want to photograph and the light's really good. I'll maybe spend an extra half an hour and hope to get like a magic shot. And then try to go and surf. So it's like balance. You know?
And I mean, you shoot in golden hour. Is that like mainly?
Mostly.
Not
like,
that you aim for that, but I mean.
It's because it's like I said, like I will wake up probably 40 minutes before the sun comes up, and that varies. Like in summer I'm waking up at like 4:30, whatever. In winter I'm waking up at like whatever, 6 o'clock-ish, whatever. And I actually really like a lot of the light before the sun comes up, you know. So a lot of stuff I shoot, if I'm shooting speed blurs, it's before the sun comes up.
Those are awesome.
Because I kind of want, thanks. But I kind of want not enough light.
So you can do that.
So as soon as the sun comes up, then it's a different dynamic. Then I'm shooting like maybe high shutter speed and stuff. But before the sun comes up, it gives you like chance to.
Those are awesome. I must say, like I did like a year of like chasing waves a bit, just because I'm in St. Francis and we've got Bruce's. So I was always looking for like when Bruce's breaks, and my favorite shots were, like you say, actually before sunrise. And just as it like peaks out and it like shines through the wave, like creates that like glow in the wave. Those were the favorite, and it's so moody because it's still dark.
And it's changing, the light changes so much, like in 10 minutes it just changes so much. And I do think it's a place like where if you're technically good like yourself, like you've got an advantage over someone who's just got a happy snappy or shooting with a cell phone or whatever. Like when the light's constantly changing and there's low lights and people don't know how to capture it. If you've got some sort of technical ability and you understand it, you could get something cool that no one else is going to be able to get.
And I mean, that goes back to like you said, you started on film cameras and you had to know there was no auto setting.
And you didn't know like what the photos were going to come out like until they got developed, you know?
So you created, or you developed quite a keen understanding of how light will affect the film on this aperture or at this shutter speed, and
100%.
That's translated into, because like you say, the risk was so high capturing a dud. You pay for that. Development.
No, you couldn't afford it. Like, and I would scrounge around. Like I remember, obviously being in J-Bay, all the, at one stage there would be like 20, 30 photographers on the beach in the sort of prime days of surf magazines and stuff.
Oh wow!
And
if there's no event even, they'll be around.
Mostly pre and post event, you know.
Okay.
And all the guys that had like an outlet. This guy was shooting for that magazine. This guy was shooting for that magazine. And there would be guys doing freelance work and stuff. And I used to scrounge around from these guys. They were like, some of them were like my heroes because like I'd grown up looking in the surf magazines, like seeing, in the surf magazine I was more interested in who was taking the photo than who was the photographer, who the surfer was half the time. and then like meeting up with these guys and like trying to kind of get film of them, like trying to like trade. I was at that stage I was painting quite a lot.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, so I was doing paintings and then I would trade like a painting for like 5 rolls of Velvet, and I would like get me through like get me through another month, whatever.
Wow.
That was like pretty cool to. I've still got some like old Velvet film that I traded with guys, you know, because they for them it was nothing. They were kind of getting the film for free.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, they could score some local art. So.
Oh, awesome. Would you ever just go back to shooting film? Is there any appeal for you to?
You know, it's weird. Like I think people who didn't go through the film period have got kind of like a nice view of shooting film. It's like it has that appeal to it, and it feels more authentic, and it's I still, you know, I've got a couple film cameras, but the charm for me is not so much there because you know, when I was shooting with film, it was like when digital came out, it was like, wow, like this thing's instant.
Yeah.
And I can see when I've made a mistake.
It's everything you wanted. Why would you not want to go back?
Exactly.
To like, the struggle.
Exactly. So like, yet when I see guys that do shoot on film and are good at it, I'm like, wow, that's awesome. You know. But as for me, it's I don't want to necessarily shoot on film just for the charm, or just for shooting on film's sake, you know. I don't think just because a photograph's shot on film it makes it a good photograph. It still needs to be a good photograph. But the film can add aspects to it that you can't get digitally. So if it's done well, then that's great, you know.
No, it's interesting because there's obviously this comeback, like it's become very hip, and I mean the companies that used to produce film are like on the back foot. They're like, oh shucks, we like closed down our plants. And now everyone wants these film back, and we can't produce enough. It's like it's just revived that whole industry so much. But yeah, there is an element of like, oh, I shot on film, but you know, you could have shot that on a digital and make it look like that.
Exactly.
But I mean, I've shot a bit of film because I didn't grow up shooting film, so it's new to me. And I must say I enjoyed the process of like you said, you only have 36 shots, and you really have to think about your framing, like how you want to shoot, what you want to shoot. It's not like growing up in the digital era where I was just like, oh, I don't care, like delete, like you know what I don't like, whatever. Like so to make you really be conscious about framing and lighting and what you want. What do you want to tell with this photo? With film, you like really think about it.
What I do like about shooting with film, like which comes back to that as well, is there's a certain a surrender, like when you shoot with film. Once you pull the trigger, it's done. You've you've done your work. And there's like a surrender to that process. Whereas you know, like now, if you shoot a photograph. There's still like a lot to do before you release that photograph. And like, okay, did I get the most out of that? Okay, what white balance do I want to use on this? You know, how do I want to process this? Because to me, it's a big part of it. I mean, like, because you know, you're shooting raw. I would say half the work is capturing the image, but then like to get the most out of that image the way you want it to look,
processing it
it is part of it. You know, to get the result that you want, to get the image that you're happy with. To me, the editing is, and I'm not talking about going crazy over the top editing, but just like getting the most out of your out of your photograph. You need to be on top of that as well. But whereas you shoot a film shot, it's like it's done. It's like, okay, I'll see you in a week's time when you developed, and maybe I nailed it, maybe I didn't.
Exactly. You've made all that decisions beforehand. What stock film you got, what settings you chose, whatever. Like you've made that decision. So once you took it, it's
exactly.
And I actually enjoyed that as well because now I don't have a place here to develop, so I wait until I have like 3 rolls, and I send it to Cape Town. And that can be months. Because I don't shoot that much. So like I still now have one in my last roll in my camera. So when I get that first roll back, I'm gonna be like, oh man, I remember the shot.
It's like, a surprise.
It's a surprise.
Do you keep little notes when you take photos?
I don't. I haven't been that.
We used to kind of do that. We used to like have like
what setting I use
because there's no data now. You don't remember like
what lens did I use here? You know, I might have 2 different 50 mils. Like oh, I can't remember even what lens this was. It looks so amazing and whatever, and you can't remember.
I think what is nice now is to use some old lenses on the new cameras.
That's cool.
That's quite a nice way to go. I do a little bit of that.
Okay.
And I think it is a way to kind of bring that old stuff in.
Merge the new and the
two.
old, yeah.
And some of those old lenses are beautiful, you know.
Yeah.
And then you still get the benefit of shooting kind of like the old equipment.
Yes.
But also the benefit of shooting, having the digital, which is like, you know, you've got a lot of latitude on your photographs. And
you definitely get some of that aesthetics from the old lens. And I mean, for instance, I know you've got the Helios.
Yeah.
And that's so, that a lot of people know about that vintage lens because of its like characteristics, you know. It definitely stands out, you know, the swirly background.
The swirly, and do you call it bokeh or bokeh, or how do we call it? What is it?
Bokeh.
Is it bokeh?
I don't know. That's what I call it, bokeh.
I call it bokeh, but I've been corrected that it's bokeh. But
I'm not really?
Sure. Yeah.
No, man. Bokeh is what you throw at a wedding.
And I mean, like real nice. Let's call it bokeh.
Yeah.
In photographs, I'm kind of a sucker for that. Like if it's genuine, like nice foreground bokeh.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you guys edit post-production now sometimes and stuff?
Not that I know. No. They try. I mean, you can add you get the anamorphic. Have you know about anamorphic lenses?
Yes, a little bit.
Yeah, so those are the ones I think they used it on projectors back in the day, and I mean that's what the guys shot film on, and that's what gave us that longer cinescope.
Yeah.
You know, with the black bars on top. You know that cinema look. But that gave you, if you shot into a light, it gave you that like streak over the screen. And people can reproduce that.
Add flare and stuff.
The flares. So flares, but not the bokeh as much. I mean, I think that's so unique.
It's nice to be a pure bokeh user.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's random and it's so cool.
Yes. No. I mean, I also have a few vintage lenses. Actually, the camera that's pointing at me has got Contax Zeiss.
Oh wow.
Yeah, which and it's such a sturdy lens as well, and it's for focusing. It's also so smooth. New lenses you're relying on autofocus, but you actually want manual focus, but they like electronic manual focus, so it's not that same feeling.
Yeah, those old lenses are nice and they're solid and they're metal and they just kind of like.
And then this one particularly has a bit of characteristics, but it's not that like too vintagey. It's actually a very sharp lens as well. So it's
you get the benefit. Yeah, those lenses are sharp actually.
Yeah.
And well built.
Yeah. No, well built, amazingly built. So no, I also enjoy shooting with them. Yeah, man. And tell me, like, back to your photography, like surfing stuff. Is there any like future? Like you say, you just do it in the morning as almost like a ritual. But I mean, I've seen you've sold some stuff. Like, what has been like a highlight maybe in your?
I think the highlight for me recently was probably about a year or so ago, getting the Zigzag.
Yes.
I got the cover, and I think growing up, the Zigzag being obviously the local surf magazine, which is now kind of subsequently kind of gone on ice, but now they're doing like a year, like bringing it back as a sort of coffee table kind of style. Or so, you know, print is ruthless. I mean, tough to get anything in print now. So if you get anything in print now, so cool. And you know, most of the international surf magazines have closed.
Sure.
But yeah, getting the cover on the Zigzag and then getting a whole profile in the Zigzag was for me like probably a highlight.
That's
and
cool.
Kind of just validating, I think. And having grown up with that magazine when we were young, as you know, when you grew up as a surfer in the sort of 80s and 90s, we were really kind of outcast. It wasn't really cool. I mean, it's a lot easier for surfers now, but like when we grew up, it was kind of on the outs, but you know, a lot of people kind of frowned on it, and they thought we were all just like drug addicts and like dropouts and no hope. And now it's far more mainstream and far more accepted.
Yes.
And so
it's Olympic sports.
Yeah, exactly. And the Zigzag would come out, and you'd get your photos, and you're just like, it was such a thing to do for weeks. You would look over those photos because we didn't have internet, we didn't have like YouTube videos. You'd get excited when you saw like a wave in the background on some Magnum PI TV shot. Oh, look, there's surf there. So like there wasn't like that, so much surf media out there. So when you got your magazine, it was like this thing that we'd share around and all look at and keep and the surf and the photos. You would just like dream about these photos and like you wanted to go to these places and stuff. And I think it was probably quite impactful and kind of influential in how I photographed. You kind of looked at what was good in a surf magazine and like you want to emulate that a little bit. But bring your own touch to it.
So that laid the foundation for you.
So
now people looking at content, they could get a very skewed idea of what's good because now a photo gets viral because of a girl in a bikini, and now you think, I just need to get a photo of a girl in a bikini. But
I think that's very much changed the difference between. I always think of it like, what's the difference between good and what's popular? And it's two different things, you know. And I always look at it like a Venn diagram. There's like a good circle and a popular circle. And where they overlap is so small. And you get it with all arts. You get it with like music. What's popular music is not necessarily good music, and what's good music is not necessarily popular. And then there's a few bands that maybe like they nail it. They do things on their terms. But they're still popular. And it's the same with photography, and I'm sure you get it with. Videography and any films, what film is actually going to be popular is not necessarily the good stuff.
Exactly.
So like you say, now it's very skewed because it's like a popularity contest a lot of the time, more than like actually, you can get quite despondent as a creator if you base your sort of success on what gets the most thumbs up or what gets, So knowing what's good. And like you say, when you give me a comment on Instagram and say, hey, I really like it, then I take it to heart because I know it's coming from someone who's got a sense of taste and someone who's like actually, I could post sunrise pictures every day of the week with a dolphin in it and that'll be popular. But that's not going to push yourself and that's not going to be satisfying to yourself. So you really want to like do my benchmark and my kind of judgment of what I want to show other people is like, what do I want to see? Would I look at that photo twice? Would I just scroll through that, or would I be interested in that?
Would little Deon going through the zigzag at like 12 be stoked on that photo?
Exactly. Because I don't want to like, so you can't expect other people to like your stuff if it doesn't even interest you. Kind of like, I'm going to put that out there because I think maybe it'll get some likes. And it's like, if that's what I was getting back earlier, you kind of develop your own aesthetic and your own sense of taste. And if something interests you and you like it, then you can like maybe expect others to like it. But if you're not even like that interested in it, then
keep searching.
Exactly. You can't throw it out there like, oh, maybe someone will like this photo. So it's developing your own taste and knowing what you consider to be good. I think is very important. And then like kind of trying to create that sort of stuff.
No, that's important for me as well. Like, because I mentioned I also went through like a phase of surf, but I never grew up as a surfer. So I realized, it wasn't really my voice, trying to take pictures of that. I enjoy seeing the content, but it wasn't my voice. Like I'm still like searching like what is my voice? And that's continuous, like finding what, like you said, the work that you also enjoy seeing. Your own work that you like.
But I love it when I'm always interested to see like what appeals, like if I do some stuff that's sort of surf photography, what appeals to non-surfers. That always fascinates me. So what is the aesthetic there? Like what is like
almost like that Fibonacci sequence, like there's something just the golden ratio that they just pick up on it even though they don't know.
Exactly.
There's beauty in it.
Because it's easy to take photographs of kind of high action surfing, and it's a good surf moment. And a surfer go, wow, that's awesome. And then you get like some comment from someone who's not a surfer, who's just like interested, like says, oh, that's cool because that sky does that, or look at the shape of the wave, or look at that the way the wake's going. And I'm like, I kind of want to strive for that, and is take photos that are not just appealing to sort of a surfer. Was just like not got that sort of common denominator that is like has got a higher aesthetic that is like appealing on different levels. Like okay, that's an interesting photograph because it's not just surf action. Or it's not just appealing to surfers. Yeah. So I think
more universal.
Yeah, I think people who like take, you know, you get that in all arts, you know, people who do you, like I can watch something that a documentary that you've done, and I might not be interested in cycling, or might not, but it still has that universal appeal because it's not just completely niche.
Yeah. It's not made for just the cyclist to be stoked about. I'm not talking about like the components, for instance.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this new bike, carbon fiber, this or that. You know.
It's
all about the story, the human story, and that's kind of universal.
And there'll be beautiful visuals. Yes. And the visuals are like appealing because I mean it's like whether you're taking a surfer or a bike or a car or whatever, you know, the visuals are still appealing to people. Yeah. So this right here where we stopped is basically where I walk my dogs every morning. Okay. And I come through there, and sometimes I get here and there's like a beautiful view, and I take photos, and then I go down to the beach and I walk up.
So this is your morning spot. Evenings? Do you come evenings?
Same, yeah. So basically, I honestly consider my photography like a byproduct of walking my dogs. Like,
so that's the main.
Yeah, I've got 3 dogs, and like as part of my sort of contract to the dogs, they get 2 walks a day on the beach, right? So they're super spoiled.
They love it.
And so I walk them down to the beach, and when I'm on the beach, if there's photos, it's a bonus. And the dogs often kind of end up in the photos.
Yeah.
They become like content, like. I had this one dog that could never leave my side, and I couldn't keep it out of my photos. So every time I was like trying to like frame a surfer, then the dog's head would be there. Like, oh, that's actually quite cool. Let's go with that.
Add it to aesthetic. Dog in foreground.
I've got so many. I was taking a photo. It was a cover of the Go magazine. There was like a guy walking out surfing, and the 3 dogs followed him out. And then like, okay, well I got the photo, and it ended up being like actually quite a cool, kind of appealing photo. Yeah. But it was, I was trying to get the surfer, and the dogs got in.
You're almost like screaming at the
and then you realize actually that's actually added to it.
That's cool, man.
And it's just say like what keeps you motivated is, especially with surf, is there's always a random element. You know, every morning you come down, the ocean's different. That's just like, it's not like I'm going and walking the same road in a city maybe. Well, even there, guys will find things that are interesting, you know? But there's always that random element and something that could happen at any moment, which is beautiful about the ocean and the beach, you know? There's definitely, I mean, dolphins or whales or
just
birds,
the color of the sunrise.
The color, exactly.
You can't,
like this
morning
there was like there was a fire somewhere, there was some smoke in the air, and then it just changes it all together, you know?
Wow, that's cool, man. Yeah, well, thanks for coming on, man, and sharing your story. I mean, I think people are going to enjoy the process, especially from a point of view of like, you don't have to make this your main hustle. You don't have to, you know, you can still enjoy it and like grow in your like art without it being the thing that puts bread on your table. Yeah,
I honestly feel that
I think people have that pressure.
Yes,
like, I must be a content creator. I must like do it.
I think you need to just like, I think for people to figure out as well is like, once it becomes your full time. Like for me, it's like a hobby and an art, and if it becomes your full time job and it loses that appeal because it's become a job, then you're back to looking for something else to be like your something that's giving you the fun aspect, you know. So to find that balance, you know, we all got to put bread on the table. So so like I said, it's a luxury for me that I can do it as a side hustle, and people like some of the stuff or whatever. And you know, someone's like, you know, occasionally, hey, can you come and shoot for us on Thursday afternoon, take some photos? And I'm like, oh, I hate to tell you, but you know, I make a lot more money doing my real job. I'm not gonna come stand on the beach and take photos of your kids, you know. And also, there's other guys that are doing that for a living that need the money. I don't want to like now come in like take their work, you know. For me, it's a bit of fun and it's a chance to be creative. And I think it's, you know, I think we all struggle a bit to find things that make us present now. I mean, I think I'm in my head a lot. Like, you know, it's so hard to, like now we're having a conversation, so it's great. We're having a conversation. I'm not thinking about other things. But, you know, it's so easy to be on your phone or whatever.
Yeah.
And to find something that makes you present is a real gift. And I find, you know, taking photos is one of those things. Like when you're taking photos, like you're concentrating on that moment, and you're kind of using your technical abilities and think, okay, let me quickly do this, or maybe change my f-stop, or da-da-da. But all of it's focused there, and I'm always getting into trouble with my wife because like we're walking on the beach and I see something cool and I was like, why are you taking out your camera? Can't you just enjoy the moment? And I'm like, yeah, but this actually adds to the moment for me. Like I'm not actually trying to detract from the moment. This actually increases my pleasure of the moment because it's challenging, and I've got a challenge now to try to capture something. And you're challenging yourself, and you're trying to be creative, and all those things are good for you. It is good just to sometimes look at something and enjoy it for its own pleasure. But like, if I see like dolphins and sunrise or something or whatever, and I'm like, or a good wave or a good surfer, for me the challenge of trying to make it create an interesting image for me is actually something very cool, you know, and it's something as creators that you get to do, you know, like to have that challenge and to try to meet the challenge and create something interesting adds to our pleasure, adds to our joy, you know.
And that is what it's about, and, you know, trying to keep it pure. And I think you've got a nice formula where it's people. You don't have to say yes to stuff that's gonna take away that purity. Like like you said, come and shoot my son. He's gonna surf, you know, whatever the contest. Can you get a few pics? So for some people that might be like really what they want to do. But I think you've got a good thing going. So
oh, thanks. And like I say, I appreciate getting feedback from people that are creative and people that know their stuff. And people that are, you know, you see a lot of stuff. So for you to tell me that's good, and I'm like, always.
Anytime,
it's weird. Like actually, the stuff that is sometimes less popular, and I'm talking say purely on Instagram, the stuff that gets maybe the least likes often gets the most commentary. Like I might post something that I think is, you know, like you stick. Like there's things that I know are going to be popular. It's like you can pump out the best sellers every time, but you know you got to push yourself. And so like I always like if I might be going off on a tangent here, but anyway, fine, I always equate it to like a band. So you've got like a rock band, and they're touring and they do a concert and they've got all their hits. And people have come to see the hits, right? So they'll play a couple of hits and win the audience over, and then put out, okay, we've got this new song, we're going to try this new song, let's see how it goes. And then the audience is like keen, but they kind of wane because they're not really used to it. They know the song, and then words. Exactly, and then they've got to play another couple of hits quickly to win the audience over. So it's a little bit like that with photography in a way. Like you're kind of like, okay, let me keep my audience a little bit happy here, but now I'm going to put something that I've done like for myself, you know? And it's not what they're expecting necessarily, but you often get really good feedback on that from people that are, you know, and it might not be like the one that's everyone's sharing and is liked and everything else, but people are like, wow, you know, that's cool, or that touched me, or I like what you're doing here.
Yeah, and I mean that is important, especially for like online consumption, because it can be so like you put it out and then you just don't know, like, did people like it? Did they not like it? If they're not saying anything, so to get that validation of like, okay, that actually appealed to people. That's interesting, you know. And like you say with the Zigzag magazine, where it's like that validation. It's not a like brag, like, oh man, like I made it on the. It's more like, hey man, I'm being noticed, like, because I've been grafting so long, and finally people are like noticing it. It isn't. I mean, it's very rarely that you're going to be like a overnight success. That doesn't happen like that.
No,
so it's nice to get that acknowledgement every now and then.
And I mean it's
in a creative pursuit.
Yeah, and it's also nice when your stuff grows kind of organically, and you're not like pushing it to grow. And then once you push it to grow, then you have got expectations from maybe an audience that has seen the stuff that you pushed. You know, so like your audience has grown with you kind of, and they can kind of follow your path, and that's quite cool. You know, like it's not like, hey, you did that one thing 3 years ago that I liked, and I'm only following you because of that. And keep those dolphins coming.
No, They are, yeah, you're just kind of showing your work, and if people, I guess, like, because you've been consistent in what you've shot, people kind of know this is Deon's. I mean, I could probably pick your photo out of a sequence, you know, like, I know that's Deon's work because it's got your signature.
That's one of the, I mean, I think that's one of the best compliments you can actually give someone when you tell someone that they've got a certain style.
Yeah.
You know, when you see whoever's work and you say, you know, that's so-and-so's work or that's so-and-so's work, because it stands out and that they've kind of developed their own style, then I think that's a great ass. I mean, I don't necessarily see it myself. Like, I just think I'm shooting stuff. Yeah. But people say, oh, it's trademark Deon. I'm like, oh, that's cool. And none of it's like, you know, I must say, I shoot a lot of shots to get a good one. You know, like, because I would rather take the risky shot than the obvious shot.
Yeah.
So, like, and obviously...
Doesn't work out sometimes.
No, sometimes... you know, if I look at my photo count, sometimes it's like 200 photos missing between one photo and the next because everything between was rubbish, you know. But then, like, you capture that one cool one, you know, because you've taken a chance. And then, like, you might have missed the obvious stuff. Like we were talking earlier, the obvious photos are easy. But because you've gone for something a bit more risky, there's more reward at the end, like if you get it right, you know.
Yeah, so this is Deon's spot. I'm going to get him in frame here. So this is where he walks to every morning, every evening. And there's no waves at the moment. Bit of like a ripple, but yeah.
I still walked on the beach this morning and I still shot of like 300 photos.
Oh, really? Awesome.
That's because the light was cool and like
you said, there was that haze from the fire.
So, like, you know, like I think there was a bit more of a wave this morning, but I mean, like I say, I walked the dogs, had my camera and took some shots, and some of them might never see the light of day, but like it's part of it, you know. Like you said, we're talking like shooting digital. I'm happy to shoot of 300 shots.
You
can
never
look at it.
You can never do that
see
on
how
film.
it looks. You know, I'm not just 300 shots on film. It was like probably like a 10 years worth of work for me.
Oh, it's crazy. Oh, cool, man. So you literally just walk.
I'm just around the corner there, and I walk up here, and I actually walk mostly that way.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Kind of go up, and I walk up.
Where sun comes out.
It's just like kind of my habit because I'm watching supers, and then as I get to the tip of boneyards there, I draw a little spiral in the sand. Okay. And then I head back.
Oh, cool.
So, yeah. And you kind of feel a little sense of accomplishment getting up early. So you're like, okay.
I think that's it. Like that little win. Little win. And you're coming out and when the waves are pumping here, it's usually not the best weather. Like it's cold and maybe even rainy. So and you're out here like trying to get a shot. So yeah, it's that sense of accomplishment.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. But yeah, thanks for showing us your local spot.
Yeah. Not a bad place.
Yeah.
Can do worse.
Thanks, guys. I hope you enjoyed that one. You can go check out Deon's work on Instagram at Deon Lategan Photographics. I'll also put a link in the description. And be sure to keep an eye out for the next episodes where I'll be heading to Stellenbosch and have some interesting people that I think you'd enjoy. Click and subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one.